All right, hi. Today I'm going to demo how to do a director shot-by-shot breakdown. And I just wanted to make this kind of a simple, quick demo so you could follow by what I demoed in class. So I have a video here. It's from Anatomy of Scene series, and so this is from the movie Suffragette. If I hit the tilde key, it'll enlarge that. And well, I'll just run through it. It starts out in East London in the manufacturing area, and then the character Maud goes out into the city, into the fancy downtown, and she runs in. She's not a suffragette yet, but she runs into a riot, basically, of women. These women are carrying rocks and things. And so it's all about the cutting and how they tell the story. She's admiring something in the window, and then the riot starts. So then there's a riot. Glass starts being thrown, rocks, and these are the suffragettes trying to get attention at the clock. So, and our character Maud falls down in the ruckus and does not yet know about this movement. So this is where she learns about it. So that's a quick run through of what this is about. Hit the tilde key again. And so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and create a timeline based off of this piece, and I'll drop it over here. And so now I can see it's there, but I have no wrong with the shot by shot. We want to put time there. Now, one of the options I could do is just shrink this over and put it over to the side, but then we have a whole lot of black space around it. And so I'm not going to take that option. Instead, I'm going to go back to where I was. I'm going to modify this sequence. So I can come back here where the sequence is, and I can right click on it and go down, not modify, but sequence settings. And then here I can change the pixel orientation, and the vertical I want to cut down because I want to get rid of these top and bottom bars. So I'm going to take this down to about 820 or so. And then horizontally, I think I want to go 2600. What that'll do is that'll expand and give me space on either side. Yes, I know it's going to change my aspect ratio. So now it's giving me this long, narrow piece. And my piece, this piece of footage here, I can move over the side. And now I'm ready to put type on this. And so now I have this nice box there and I have area to put type. So once I've gotten that set up, and I could actually, if I wanted to, enlarge this just a little bit so I don't have those boxes, or I could remodify it, but it's not that important. Maybe what I want to do is actually shrink it a little bit so I have a nice little box around it. Whatever. Okay, so now the next step is we want to start making out where the cuts are, right? I'm going to click over here on Effects Control and above there to get rid of that little. And so it starts off with quite long cuts. So what I'm going to do is use the marker tool, select off of the clip. So I'll put the markers up here. That allows me to move them around more easily. And so I'm going to just start the video playing, and I'll mark when the first cut comes up, and I'll just watch for cuts and try and hit the M key to put a marker down.
To go into central London to deliver a package.
Here it is.
And we wanted to juxtapose the world.
I'm going to mute that. Oh, I missed that cut because I was muting the sound. So she comes up, climbs up into here. Here's a cut coming up. That's a cut. And then she's going to climb off of this. And actually, I watched this already. She's going to pass right behind that black truck. And notice this is another cut point right here. Now, see how she came out from behind the truck. So now these are kind of long 15-minute cuts. So there was a cut I missed almost. I should stop talking and start. There's a cut. There's a cut. There's a cut. So exciting watching me cut this up. But basically the markers will help me find where the major cuts are. And pretty soon it's going to get a little more hectic. They're looking at each other. They're deciding there's a cut. 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 Now it gets so chaotic here. My markers are no longer accurate, but this is interesting. This fall right there. See, if you notice that actually that fall was a double fall, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, so let's go back here, and I'm going to zoom in with the plus key, and now our first cut is right out here. Now, if I want to go to markers, it's Shift M should move me to markers. So Shift M will move forward to markers. Command Shift M will move backwards to markers. And so here's the first cut. Now I can use the left and right arrows to find right where this cut is. Okay, so right there is the cut. And notice she's hidden. She's leaving that area. There's the cut. So now this, I can actually move this over to that point. Now I'm going to hit Command M. And I think I missed this one by a little bit. Yeah, there it is right there. So I can hit the arrows back and forth to find that exact cut point. And I can continue like this, Shift M to go to the next cut. Let me see how close I am. There it is right there. So I've gotten those cuts down. Shift M to the next one. Let me back up and see how far off I was with that one. Maybe oh, right there. There's the cut. Okay, so I've got to move my markers around a little bit to get them closer. The main point here, though, is that now what I want to do is use the razor blade tool. Why do I want to use the razor blade tool? Because I want to figure out how long these are, and I don't want to sit there and time them. I'm just going to simply take the razor blade. Now that I have these markers done, it's really easy with the snapping tool on to go through, and what I'm doing is I'm going through and marking these cuts. Now I would continue on down the row here. But once I've cut them, I hit the letter V, or hit the move tool, and I'm going to double click on that one, and this one tells me that this piece right here is 5 seconds and 5 frames. This next piece is 9 seconds and 13 frames. Now we're ready to start putting the labels onto our pieces, and so if I take this piece and double click on it, I can see it's 16 seconds and 5 frames. And I can go up here, I choose the type tool down here, and I go up here and I click and drag out a rectangle. And then pretty much right away I can start typing. So this is a wide shot, so WS. It's a crane shot moving down and following. Let me see, 16 seconds, 5 frames, or is it, yeah, 16 seconds, 5 frames, and it cuts behind truck. Why is that important? Because in the next scene, so that's this one right here. We can enlarge this one out. I like to almost fill it all the way up. But this next scene, we can see that she actually goes behind the truck, and then it's a match cut, and she's revealed from behind the truck. So now here with this one, I just hit the up arrow to line up here. I'm going to put another box. And now we are, I start playing this down here. You'll see that it's medium shot, so go up here, medium shot, pan left to right, match cut with truck, and now this one is, let me go ahead and put this in. This one is, if I double click on it, I will see it's 4 seconds and 18 frames. 4 seconds, 18 frames. So why do we do this, right? Why do this? It seems laborious and time consuming. I'm going to go ahead and choose the pointer tool to move out of the tool there. If I did have to adjust this type, I could, in fact, there's an E I need there, frames. I could take like 14 seconds, 10 frames, and go over to effects control, over here, effects control, and then if I select that piece of type, I should have the type option here. So you can see I'm using Helvetica, bold, condensed, but if I did want to, say, change this bit of type to a different kind of bold, oblique, so it's oblique, And I can change the size of it. I can change whether it's centered or not. So I have some control. So that's all over here in the effects control under graphics, under text. But now back to the question, why do we do this stuff? For example, to examine this and see the way in which she emerges here, the way she's climbing on the bus, she goes behind a wall, and then she emerges out the bottom. See how we're following around? It's like she's on her journey. And then she comes down here, and she's crossing behind this truck. And right there where she disappears, that's the cut point. And the next moment, she's revealing from coming out the other side of the truck, moving left to right, moving left to right. The analysis of that is interesting because it shows how much they storyboarded and did shot sheets planning out this sequence. Now you have horses, buses, hundreds of extras in costume. You're spending beaucoup bucks on this. If you show up and don't know what you're doing, and can't plan what you're doing, you need to really be planning that, basically. All right, so let me just show you another piece. Here's the riot beginning, and this Maud character is caught up in this. It starts with the breaking of glass, and then once the glass breaks, she figures she better get out of there. So she moves, and then she runs into a woman right here at this cut and falls to the ground right there where she hits the ground. And then the next cut completes the fall. What's interesting is if you look closely at the fall, here she comes down, hits the ground, her elbow is down just like a football player being down, but in the next frame she's still up and coming down. So if you look at this, what they did is they added a couple more frames to overlap the action so your eye would have time to catch up. Now that I've shown it to you, you will see it as a missed match cut. If I play it here, down, down. See how it's two cuts? But when you first watched it, or if you just watch this movie, you just see the fall, and then she looks up to what's going on. Then they cut to the action, and you actually then find her further down the path trying to get up, right? So they've really constructed this through, and you have to think like they've spent a ton of money to close down this street in London, to dress all these extras, to make this scene happen. So they've done a lot in storyboards, and that's what you have to do is storyboard your workout. First of all, shot lists. So you can see these shot lists. You know, I have a fall. She runs into the woman. She falls to the ground from the side. Then they capture the fall from the front and overlap the edits. Like if you look back at the beginning, let me go to the home. This first opening scene, she starts out walking, leaving East London. And when she transitions, we can't find her at first. Now we're in the busy downtown area of London, and she walks past these cars, and then we find our protagonist. It's a discovery process. We're watching her on this journey. As she walks over, climbs up the elevator, she's going to be on this bus for a little while, and the bus, now we catch her again on top of the bus with her package. She comes down and climbs over. Now watch this move. This is a nice transition cut. She moves behind the truck, and right when she disappears behind the truck, the next shot comes up, and there she is coming out from behind the truck. But notice how nicely those two things cut together, those two motions. Her going behind the truck, and then her reappearing on the other side of the truck. Now, did that happen by accident and the editor just got lucky? I doubt it. This was planned out. They timed that very carefully so they could have these nice transitions and following her through this scene. With this many extras and this many bodies, you can't afford to have people just running rampant all over the place. That's why it's so important to do these director shot-by-shot breakdowns so you really understand how to plan out your shots and really understand how to do that. So I hope this helped in doing your shot-by-shot. I look forward to seeing what you create.